Hi, YouTubers! Hey, I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Oh, I got a piece of hair in my mouth. Excuse me. Anyway, hope you're having a fantastic Friday. My Friday was really great. It's almost 11 o'clock here in Arizona, so I decided I would post a video tonight. I wasn't going to do it, but I got a couple of responses, had a couple of questions, so I decided, what the hey, let's go ahead and do it. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about my day. Spent the day with my mom. It was great. Mom and daughter time. Did pedicures. Spent some time. Had a little makeshift picnic with my cousin's kids at the park today with their grandma and a couple of my mom's friends. So that was fun. Me and my mom went to Starbucks, and then we saw the epic new movie called Noah. And it stars Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly. So I'll just give you a 1 minute review of this movie. Now, I will warn you, it is not the traditional manufactured Noah that we're used to seeing, which is the nice little white guy who looks like a grandpa in a robe with the cute little rainbow and the little animals just going two by two. Like the little lambs and the little chickens and, you know, the cows. It's not that Noah. It's not VeggieTales Noah. I'm going to let you know. It's probably the true Bible version of Noah. Image, I'll say. I won't say version, but image that probably was there. But it's not the manufactured Noah that we're used to seeing on our little kitty Bibles and books. There was this old 80s Bible cartoon called Superbook that I remember my mom used to make us watch, and it's not that Noah either. It's just like destruction, like man really messed it up, and God was going to wipe us all out, but had a saving grace and told Noah to build the ark. But it's a really good take and interpretation of it, very vivid, very visual, and I did like how they were depicting Adam and Eve because they kind of get into that little story. But what it makes you do, it makes you think a little bit because I grew up Christian, obviously I'm a Christian, and grew up in a church learning the story of Noah. Made me want to grab this again and read it. And that's my Bible, y'all. So yeah, it really makes you challenge you to think, okay, what is it about the Noah story where you have to separate manufactured Noah with Bible Noah? So it was pretty good. But like I said, it's not the traditional manufactured Noah that we're used to seeing. So some people will be like, that ain't the word. That ain't what God said. That's not how the Bible said. That's not what my word depicts Noah as. And it's not that it's wrong because they do use biblical truth in there. I'm not saying that it's all biblical truth, but a lot of scenes are in the Bible. So, what I'll just leave you with that is it's not the traditional little old white man with the beard and the robe and the rainbows and the cute little animals. That's not how it goes. So just be prepared for that and judge for yourself. Let me know how you think. But it's very visual, and there is kind of like a transformer type esque thing happening there. I'll let you see the movie and let you know what I'm talking about. I won't spoil it, but let me know what you think about that movie. The other thing, it really makes me excited when I get feedback from you guys. So like, subscribe, make comments and questions down below, and share with your friends my channel and my videos. That would help me out tremendously. And I'm already getting tons of support. So mwah, to you guys on that. I appreciate that. But I get really excited when I get questions because then I can share my knowledge with you. Um, of what I know. And doesn't it feel good to share what you know with your friends and people you want to be your friends and people you don't know but you can help? So, one of my good friends that I've been knowing since literally she was born, Val, sent me a question, and it's a question about wines and actually cooking with wines. Her question is this: it's what is a good wine to use when making a red spaghetti sauce? Um, Wines, I will say this, are really good for cooking. Let's turn like this. They add a good boost of flavor to whatever you're cooking. Um, in this case, let's say red spaghetti sauce. I like to use a Merlot personally. I just did in February My brother got married last week, so in February I actually cooked the food for his now wife, then fiance's bridal shower. And we did pasta, and I did a red sauce, and I used Merlot. And it was great because it was a nice, dark, rich purple, reddish purple Merlot. And it was actually one that came in a box, a small box about yay high. It had about 6 servings in it, and it had a reusable screw top to it. So it's really nice. I can't think of the name offhand though, but it was really good. It's not like your traditional box wine that's kind of wino-ish. But it was really good, and I could reuse the wine over again, and it added a rich, bold flavor. Now, another wine I do recommend for a red sauce um, is a Chianti. It's really rich, really flavorful, very nice. Now, for those of you that aren't traditional thinkers, drinkers, and are thinking, "Oh, if I use wine, will that make my baby drunk, or will it make me drunk?" And the answer is no. When you cook wine, especially at high temperatures for a good amount of time, it's going to kill off and burn off any alcohol content. But you do get the flavor. That's what remains, and that's what we want. We don't want the alcohol, we want the flavor. And what the fermentation process does to the wine really does help to round out a good sauce. So, Val, in this case, I would try either a Merlot or Chianti. Some people have heard of use the Lambrusco. Good rule of thumb is if you're doing Italian food, stick with an Italian wine. And you can go to a lot of good places like Total Wine and Bevmo. They got a really good selection, and they can really steer you in the right way because that's like the wine mecca. But if you're just like I say at a regular grocery store, just a Merlot, a Chianti, one of those two I think would be great. I like Merlot. Just make sure you cook it well enough. And season. I like to use fresh garlic. I love herbs, basil, oregano, rosemary, and thyme, bort. That's what it was taught to me is bort, uh, basil, oregano, rosemary, and thyme. Use those herbs. You can never go wrong with that. And then also watch your acidity. Sometimes the tomato, you get a lot of acid can come up. And what I like to do is put a little sugar. I know that may not be popular with some people, but a little sugar will help tone that acidity down. Excuse me, help bring out the sweetness of the wine in the tomatoes. But it is going to add grams of sugar to that too. So if you're kind of concerned about that, be mindful. If not, go forth and conquer. But I hope that helps to answer your question, Val, on what wine to use when making a red sauce. Now, there's a part two to that question. It was actually two questions. And the part two was, what other things can you cook with wine? And that's also a really good question. French cooking uses a lot of white wines in it. Even some Japanese cooking uses some wine, Japanese wines. But French cooking involves a lot of white wines. Deglazing your pan is very common in like French sauces. So let's say like you're pan searing a chicken, for example, and you want to make a different, I don't know, sauce out of the pan juices. What a lot of times what French cooking will call for you to do is to take maybe a cup or half a cup of white wine. After you remove the chicken, of course, and you have the nice drippings and stuff in there, and just deglaze it on high heat real quick with the white wine. And then you can add other things to it, like mushrooms or garlic, herbs. Like herbs de Provence is actually a pretty easy one. So let's say you're doing a pan roasted chicken. You can deglaze the pan with, let's say, a half cup to a cup of white wine, a little, very little lemon. I probably wouldn't even use a lot of lemon because the wine's really your acid. You could throw in some garlic, herbs de Provence, maybe I would say mount with butter. That's a culinary term I'll have to teach you guys about. But throw in a little bit of butter, maybe like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of butter. Added a little bit of richness and silkiness to it, and there you go. You have a quick, simple sauce for your pan roasted chicken. Um, Again, red wine could be used to deglaze red meats like beef, even pork. For that instance. You could use white wines used a lot in like a clam sauce. If you want to look like for an Italian white sauce, so like a clam sauce. Also, white wine is used. I've used it when making an Alfredo sauce for like a fettuccine Alfredo. That's something I've used quite a bit. White wine's also used to make a risotto. And I'll teach you guys how to make risotto if you don't know how to make risotto. But that's used to make risotto, kind of almost in a sense deglazing the pan in that instance when you're sautéing garlic and onions or scallions, whatever you're using for that dish. So that's a couple of things you can use it for. Or thinking maybe kind of like sweeter wines, kind of in that thick category. Think port. Port is very, very commonly used for poaching with pears. Actually, that's a very good dessert dish. Poached pears and port is really good. And really, you can poach pears in any type of wine you want to. Just keep in mind, sometimes when you add heat, a lot of times when you add heat, that could alter the flavor slightly, but not too much. I'm actually have a concept right now for a Riesling chicken I'm working on. So when I get that all figured out and it's to my liking and I'm ready to share it, I will share it with the world. So that's something I'm kind of thinking of. So, those are some other uses for wine. Like I said, poaching pears, chicken, making quick, simple sauces, deglazing your pan. And those are common uses for that. Also, in a braising liquid, a red wine is commonly used if you're doing like braised short ribs or braised beef roast. Um, that's also pretty used well. Again, a lot of times in deglazing process to help make a nice rich sauce. So, hope that helped you at all. If you have any more questions or that was just not clear to you, please let me know and we'll review that again. And maybe we'll do a wine review. Again, if you're just, it's religious purposes, don't use the wine. You can use like a cooking wine, but they tend to taste different. I am going to tell you that, and you don't get the same flavor, and they tend to have more sodium than traditional wine. And my rule of thumb is if you wouldn't drink it, don't use it. Actually, that's most chefs' rule of thumb. If it's not something you would drink, then don't cook with it. That's pretty simple. Cut and dry with that one. But anyway, I hope this was helpful to you, Val, and to anybody else that's seeking out wine and how to incorporate that in the recipes. And please don't do the one where it's like one for the pot, one for the chef, one for the pot, one for the chef. That's a quick way where you won't be able to enjoy your meal and people won't be able to enjoy your company because you're going to be a little happy. So anyway, leave your comments and questions down below. I love to get them. It's like Christmas for me. It's beautiful. It's like open up a gift, a little present, unexpected. But yeah, leave them down below. Like, share, and subscribe. That's what's gonna help me out. Let's get the movement going. This movement, of course. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna stop because I think my Friday night probably needs to come to an end pretty soon anyway. But hope you guys have a great night. Check out Noah, see what you think about that. Let me know. We'll converse about it. And mwah, blessings to you guys and have a great night. We'll talk to you later.